Maron. Come on, come on, Asafa Maron. Come on, come on, Asafa Maron. Come on, come on. I'm just thinking of anybody that goes like watching this video after it's finished the live and they wonder what on earth this guy is doing. Well, you gotta give some kind of intro. You've got to give some kind of intro. So that's what it is. While people are gently waiting for the live to be live, to get more people in this chat, to get those likes going. Who knows how many times I have to say those likes, not dislikes, those likes. Like you click them and they become likes. Otherwise, they don't become nothing. So, alright, let's start to see who is in the chat. Wow, actually we're already 200. That's awesome. That's already freaking amazing. Guys, it's actually been a while. I think it's been what, almost a full week? Probably not. Actually, just a few days, right? Probably. What was the last time we? Was it Thursday morning? The last live? I don't remember. Anyway, new week, new life. We gotta move forward. We gotta do stuff. We got the entire chat here from everywhere. Hello, everyone. I wish could just name all of you, but you're already 344. By the time I'm done, it's like it takes like half an hour to name everybody. But you know that I'm greeting everybody. So nice to see you. It's very lovely. Actually, we're even more. We're almost 500. What? So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We got to talk about stuff today. And I see that we are from Texas, we are from the US, we are from the UK. I watched the Jubilee actually. I watched some Jubilee. I almost thought like I wanted to do some videos about it, but I didn't know enough. I did watch some of it. Actually, it was quite interesting, I have to admit. So happy Jubilee also for the UK friends. Was a lot of shows. Very, very interesting. We got Canada. Yeah, we got the US. That's nice. We got a lot of US from Louisiana, from Las Vegas. Got a lot of UK. We got Spain in the house. We got Germany. We got New Zealand. I love this. Calgary, Canada. Oh my God. Got Australia. I love this. We got Mexico in the house. West Virginia. North Ireland. We got Brazil in the house. We got New York. Oh man, I can do this. I'm sorry guys, keep going. I can literally do this for like half an hour. I just love to see it. So I'm just trying to keep a good balance between starting a live, getting the people into the chat so we can start to talk a little bit. But there, there's no other way to start a live, So I'm just enjoying the love from Sweden, from Thailand. I'm just enjoying the love from Houston, Texas. I'm enjoying from West Virginia, again from Sicily. I love this. Amsterdam Centrum. Can you imagine? We're Finland. Today here in Amsterdam is such a strange weather, man. It's been raining and cloudy and dark. Feels almost like as if it's a little bit monsoon, like this strange heavier rain and wind. So it's very peculiar. We got Poland, and I always kind of I always switch between Poland and Indonesia also. So probably we have both, either Poland and Indonesia in the house as well. Maybe more Poland, I think, because Indonesia, a lot of people probably are sleeping now. But you don't know, I don't know. Oh man, this is fantastic. South Carolina, Fairfax County. Oh, that's actually where the trial took place. We got Austria. Oh, that's really nice, guys. Please hit the like so we get the stream going. We already we're almost 500. That's actually we're almost 700. Wow, that's awesome, man. We're almost 1,000 in the chat. That's a great chat, man. Considering there is no trial, that's freaking fantastic. I love it. I love this. More Poland, yes. So anyway, guys, okay, let's start with something. And I want to discuss with you a few things. I just posted a video on AH sister Whitney releasing a statement. I made a short video about it, talking a little bit what I think, what I feel. So if you haven't watched it, it's there. You can watch it. But there are so many things I want to talk about that I thought, okay, let's go online and let's do this, you know. I was amused with everything that is happening post-trial. I'm really, really amused. Guys, don't worry. I'm going to check the message every few minutes. Yes, leave a like. The more likes, the better. We're almost like 1,000. So I thought the best way to go, let's go live and we talk a little bit. Because there's so much stuff happening. Just so much stuff happening, which is puzzling, which is frustrating, also entertaining, of course. There's a level of entertainment in that. But you really see what a strange society we live in right now in 2022. And of course, a lot of it has to do because, ironically, me included, we all have a voice, you know? We all have a voice. So many people have a voice today. So actually reconnecting to what AH was saying in one of the statements, that she doesn't have a voice, her voice was taken away. It's actually quite the contrary today. For everyone today, we have so much voice, so much chance to speak out, to speak, to be heard, to share. It's like you can reach, even in your small circle, you can reach more people than you should be allowed to, honestly. And I put even myself in that picture. You know what I mean? Literally, anybody that has already 300 friends on their Instagram, they're already contacting and they have already more reach than you would actually have in 1998. I'm just saying. I mean, for some of us, now I'm 46. Last week was my birthday. Actually, was my birthday, the 1st of June, the day we got the verdict, the day we got the winning of JD, which was absolutely fantastic, was the best birthday ever. So now at 46, some of us, and also a lot of you out there, remember when we were younger, right? When we were teenagers, how it actually looked like to interact with people. It seems like a gazillion years ago, but in fact, of course, it was not that long ago, but it was so much different than it is today. Literally, you probably had at the most 5-6 friends in a day you interacted with, even when you went to school, you weren't friends with everyone. You had your circle. You went into your class at college or high school, and you had your bunch of friends which you chose to talk to, and that was it. Nowadays there's so much reach. Anyway, apart from the reminiscing, let's start with this Washington Post article, headlines. I found it amusing, and it doesn't say anything bad for the rest, I think, because I couldn't go through the rest. But the Washington Post, of course, is pretty infamous in regard of JD, because, of course, the famous op-ed of AH that came out in 2018, also the same op-ed which is still there, and it's been updated with the editor note after the winning. Actually, now thinking about it, I thought maybe it would be a good idea even changing the title, or at least adding another note that says that, in some regard, that article, it's false, because it was proven to be such, to my understanding. I mean, at least in the court of law, those statements in there have been found to be at fault. So, guys, we're almost 1,000. Let me see if we are 1,000. Let me refresh the chat. If you're not 1,000, we gotta bring this chat to 1,000 right now. I'm just kidding. But we're actually 1,000 right now. Wow. Look at this, huh? Ask and the universe provides. Unbelievable. We're 1,000 people in the chat. We have so many of you. That's fantastic. So, anyway, I was saying, the Washington Post is a little bit infamous in regard to JD. And I saw this headline saying, like, Johnny Depp plots career revival following court win. And that made me think, like, choosing the words, like in this case, Johnny Depp plots career revival, like that plot, and the article then continues saying, like, less than a week after winning a defamation lawsuit against his ex-wife, Johnny Depp appears ready to restart his career. That part seems much more honest. But I find it amusing, the plot. It's like choosing those words, like plots, as if it's like complotting something, like a sort of villain that is trying to come back from an infamous life. It's so fascinating, actually. The dude, it's just been proven to be innocent. He's just gone through all kinds of abuse in this 6-7 years relationship. He finally, after being scrutinized, after had to wash his dirty laundry in public, under the eyes of hundreds of millions of people, I had to go through also that, which is not easy, man. I honestly don't know if I would be able to go through that kind of scrutiny, And, we also heard all these audios and so on and so forth. So the guy went through all of this, and he's just trying to move on with his life. He had previous engagement with Jeff Beck, the guitarist, the British guitarist. So he's just moving on with his life. Just happened that he had to play while the trial was going on. And when it ended, and also ended well for him, it's moving on. That's all there is to it. Not much. So, choosing of words, very bad. And as you can see, we're going to watch some of this thing here, which I find it fascinating. Where is let me see. Oh, here we go. I showed these already, but I wanted to show you again, like, how many actually of those headlines are increasing. I was pretty much surprised, because there are, like, I counted like something like 30, and in between those 30 headlines from magazines, many of those magazines are pretty well known. Like you see here, like CNN, the Washington Post, of course. You see Think. You see the HuffPost, Huffington. I don't know how to pronounce that. The Independent, BuzzFeed News. You got also like BBC News as well. So there's USA Today. There's a lot of Dazed, a lot of big magazine, a lot of big newspaper which report on this. And as you can see, the majority of the headlines, they are very, very confusing, not reporting really what happened. And also, like I said for the other article, choosing certain words because, they probably, for the sake of just clickbaiting, or there's probably at play something that it's more complex. And I also discussed that with in the other video. It seems like nowadays, because there are certain movements which were born out of something good, like the Me Too movement. They were born out of trying to create a correction in the places of power where men of power were abusing that power against women. So that came out from something good, even though was aiming just at the very narrow, strata of society and men in charge, because those men in charge, those men with power, first of all, are very little, it's a very, very minute percentage of the male population, none of us was invited in those clubs. None of us was part of those clubs, neither in the past nor now. So for the majority of men, we never belonged there anyhow. But it's a movement that was born out of something good, and we saw what happened, with people like Harvey Weinstein, which was brought to light what he was doing. Cosby as well. But those are particular cases which I think the Me Too movement did good. But like for every movement, it seems like that as soon as it grows bigger and more powerful with more influence, all of a sudden they're more busy maintaining that kind of facade of propaganda, and also the people joining in just being a little bit biased by default towards the gender which they're trying to protect. And therefore, by being biased toward the gender they're trying to protect, they also assume that there cannot be any other way that believe every woman. Otherwise, you might sort of send out a signal that you are not, as progressive or as woke as you claim to be. And I find it such a huge misstep, because if you tribalize a movement like you're part of a football team, and therefore you lose being impartial. You lose trying to go after the truth, which is the whole point of this. It shouldn't become just a sort of sisterhood, by default, and just believe everything that anybody says as long as their gender fits with the narrative. So I think this is a little bit what it's happening today, and it's unfortunate, honestly. And the irony is that, like I said, asked also in the comment section for the other video, the majority of women do not agree with this, So I'm also curious again with you in the chat for my audience, how do they feel about this? Do you feel that this is getting a little bit out of hand and they're getting a little bit corrupted? Those more woke cult or activists or whatever, they're losing a little bit the ideology, the purity of the ideology. Hey, that's me. We gotta like this as well. Here we go. That's my video right there on the Justice for Johnny Depp on Reddit. If you use Reddit, it's actually a nice place to see all those things happening in real time. So yeah, I'm super curious to hear your thoughts on this, because it's not going well. It's not going well. And instead of siding with the victim, they're choosing just to be either silent, or some of all those supporters of AH, they're just ignoring the facts, which is even more sad. Luckily, there are not so many, because then otherwise I would really want to leave this planet, honestly. Unfortunately, I don't have enough money to pay Elon to send me to Mars. But on the other end, probably Mars is not such a great place to live on. So, and then the media is going after us. Probably by now you have heard about this journalist, which also I think wrote in the Washington Post, if I'm mistaken. Now I don't have all the things in front of me. And she was called out by YouTubers, and already like that Umbrella Man has spoke about this. He has made videos on his channel, so if you're curious, you can go there. That Umbrella Man, which is basically, that Umbrella Man is the OG when it comes to the whole trial of Johnny Depp. He's doing this, he's covering the truth already for a long time, and he's doing a great job with that. But he was also named in the trial so many times. And this journalist apparently wrote something and misquoted or misrepresented, basically writing a lie that she had reached out to a few YouTubers, including that Umbrella Man. And she wrote about, how those YouTubers made money, making assumption using Social Blade, which is this app, whatever, this website where you can get a grossly estimate of views and income for YouTubers, which I can tell you it's a gross estimate, because if you don't know if the videos are monetized or not, you have freaking no idea how much money you make. I mean, when I was doing more reaction videos, I did reaction videos to music, I literally still, I made like I was averaging, depending from the month, like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million view every month, right? Sometimes also a little bit more, and sometimes a little bit less. I think 1 million, 1.5 million a month. But out of those views, I literally made sometimes like 180 euro a month. That's it. But on Social Blade, maybe it would say that I would make like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, dollars, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month or so, because of the views. Totally grossly exaggerated, but because most of those views were copyright claimed, whatever money was paid to the copyright owner of the songs, of course. So honestly, I didn't make nothing. So, but anyway, this woman like claimed that YouTubers making a bunch of money, and then that Umbrella guy called her out because she claimed that she reached out to those YouTubers, and in fact it wasn't true, and also stating whatever kind of amount they made. So that Umbrella guy just called her out, which was awesome, because those are journalists which have, it's amazing because they have so much power, because they write for big magazines and they have basically no accountability. I think she's either blocked everybody or just not responding, or blocked reply or whatever. I think also the Washington Post had to come with the editor's note also here to explain something on their article. But those guys are just pissed off. The YouTubers are making money with reporting news, and they're pissed off that they're losing the grip. It's like a little bit like, what happened with LimeWire, what happened with Napster. The record labels just lost the grip on how much they could ask for a CD. And I tell you one thing, like, I don't know how it was in the US, but in Italy, right, in the 90s, when you wanted to buy a CD, I remember some CD costing north of like 30,000 lire, 39,000 liras, which sounds like a lot of money, but yeah, it's because the lira was so devalued. But almost 40,000 lira for a freaking CD was almost sometimes like a day work for a lot of people. I remember when I went to work in the summer, I remember one year, like was 92, 93. I remember I worked in this restaurant in the summer, and I was making around that money. I was making like 45,000 lira a day, which would be like, I don't know, at the time probably was like $25, $30 a day. I don't know, the equivalent of that money. But it was expensive to buy a CD. It literally was like 20 euro to $20, $25 equivalent. And was actually the record label that destroyed the market, because those things costed too much. You literally couldn't afford to buy a CD. You know what I mean? And then they blamed the internet, the people sharing those files, and so on and so forth. But I believe, in my opinion, that that was their fault that they created this, forcing people to pay whatever they wanted, and in the end actually not even paying that much artists anyway, because a lot of artists got ripped off. So, and then we know what happened with Napster, LimeWire, and so on and so forth. So the same thing is happening with the mainstream media. Before that, absolute control. You had only in TV, like, you had 4, 5, 6 main channel in Italy, they could curate everything. You had 7 or 8 big magazines, which newspaper, which they curated everything, and that total loop control and power over everything. That's it. Now people are choosing to report what YouTubers are doing. Actually, it's a great thing. Not everybody, because there is, of course, people which they're biased, towards their own political affiliation, beliefs, moral beliefs, religious beliefs, and okay, you have to read into that. But there's also a lot of YouTubers which they choose to report news in a way which they try, first of all, to make sense for themselves. Literally trying to filter those headlines and then, give the right words or the better words, without buying into the clamor or the exaggerations or whatever. So at least that's what some of us, at least also that's for me, for instance, what I'd like to do. I noticed that after this trial of JD that I got so engaged, I thought I like to do this. I like to look into, pop culture, what is happening right now, and try to offer a filter of this noise, through the videos, through expressing some of the opinions, reacting to this stuff, because there is not many. And as you can see, a lot of that stuff, it's utter manipulation, and it really confuses people, and it's unfair. It shouldn't be that way. So yeah, anyway, she called out, which is awesome that it's also possible today, because can you imagine if it wasn't possible? Also, can you imagine if the trial was behind closed doors, right? If we hadn't had the chance to listen to the leak audios, if we didn't have a chance to witness with our own eyes how she was talking, how the people were talking, they were reacting, can you imagine? We would have been sold completely something else. And unfortunately, that analogy can be drawn also with other things that happen around us, and there is no other way to say it, which is hard, man. It's difficult. I don't claim that I know how to actually manage that, because I don't. I'm just trying, like you, to make sense of all the things that they throw at us, just making sense of all the things that they're throwing at us. And it's not clear, today I was just reading the news of Russia hitting Ukraine with a very pivotal grain storage, or it's a very big grain facilities producing grain or refining grains, which then gets distributed in all kinds of countries around the world for pasta and all kinds of other stuff, flour, and that's a big hit. And then you have to see how the world reacts to it, and then you try to make sense of what is happening, and it's still going on, and it's so incredibly complicated, that you can't read through what the US is choosing to do, what the China is choosing to do, what Europe is choosing to do. And in between all those headlines, you're trying to understand, hey, where are we going here? How it's going to end? Who is, where are the responsibilities? Just to make an example that it's pretty big and complicated. So yeah, I mean, where do you go from here? I don't know, like this. I just wanted to show you this. This is fantastic. This is the journalist, I suppose, that we were just talking about. I think is this, if I'm not mistaken, is this journalist. And I love this meme of Wayne Dennison, also known as John Wayne Dennison, which is the basically the wizard to destroy like specialist, like witnesses. You have heard the word journalist before, right? I can hear his voice. It's so funny. It's an occupation, isn't it? Did you happen to read the instruction on being journalist before acting like one? I'll start with an easy one. I love that guy. That guy was amazing in doing this. That's exactly my question, man. One time I think there was a code for being a reporter. And I think those lines have been blurred already for a long time. And now it's like an open field where everything goes as long as you're doing the clicks. And to a degree, like I said, I'm not against certain titles or whatever. It's just very upsetting when you see that literally hundreds of millions of people have witnessed the truth, and they've witnessed also a fair trial, and they don't feel represented. They don't feel represented by the media, which they choose, like I said in the beginning, to maintain a sort of propagandistic look, of catering more towards the super woke or, the feminist or the gender in general, because they're afraid that they might send a signal that, oh my God, they're going to think that we're not so incredibly woke. And yeah. Actually, I wanted to show you. Let's listen to this, because this is Johnny entertains the kid as Willy Wonka. Let's see the volume up. Man, this guy is so nice. And this dude is super nice, man.
Good morning, stars shine. The earth says hello. Oh my God. That's my favorite.
Good morning, sunshine. I mean, this dude literally doesn't have to do half of what he does. You know what I mean? This guy literally doesn't have to do half of what he does, but he still does it with everyone. And I'm happy that he's probably experiencing now a wave of notoriety, even more than usual, because of all of this. So like the love for the moment, the love towards this guy is intensifying, and it's nice. It's really nice. Like I said, I've done several videos of doing Johnny Depp appreciation, just for the fact of also not taking away the the celebratory aspect of it, of this guy winning and getting the love that he deserves.
Guard of Honor.
Guard of Honor from them. See you next film. Go home and watch. Charlie from the Fragility, one brother, one down, Harrison, Caribbean.
So he's getting into the character. It's so funny, man. I didn't hear that, but I think he was getting into the Mad Hatter character again. So that's fascinating, man. I don't know what is going to happen soon. Like, if I saw that there are things going around about JD starting to work again. Guys, just a second. I'm going to take some questions. Let me know what's going on here. Sorry, I was ranting, but this is, wow, guys, we're 2,200 in the chat. Okay, first of all, I want to ask you one thing. If you enjoy this, if you like this type of flow of thoughts, discussion live like this, that we go over stuff, or I just free flow with the conversation, because I would like to do this, more often, at least once a week or so. or a couple of times a week, and we can choose subjects or whatever regarding this. I really enjoy it. So if you like this type of stuff, because now we're actually a good bunch, 2,000 people. It's a lot of people in the chat. So if you enjoy this, we can do this also on other subject, I know I have a lot of English-speaking audience now from everywhere, so it could be interesting to do this also on pop cultures. For instance, just to give an example, I was thinking, I was watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, the new Walt Disney series, right? And I see that there's a lot of stuff going on regarding the first 3 episodes. I didn't dive too much into it in terms of doing a review or talk about how people are perceiving it, both the sort of the more official reviewers and the audience, stuff like that. I also saw that there is a lot of people talking about the new movie Top Gun, and its success. So that kind of stuff. So we can chime in into this kind of stuff. And to reply also to Monique Marcus, yes, I actually saw yesterday, I actually saw it on different places. I saw his videos of the UK barrister, the lawyer, the black belt barrister. I've seen his video on his channel. Then I also saw that he's been interviewed by Popcorn Planet, which is really, now it's becoming really like the to-go platform channel to be interviewed. So he was being interviewed and he explained there the whole video. So if you haven't watched the video, go on Popcorn Planet to check it out, or on Black Belt Barrister on his channel. Actually, I think I had it somewhere because I was actually just watching one of his videos that he was explaining why also the UK trial there were limitations in presenting. So I'll try to tell you the salient part of one of those videos of the black belt barrister. He was discussing about why you cannot consider the UK trial in the same way we see the US trial. First of all, because AH was basically just called in, and because we're now, sorry if I don't use the right nomenclature for the stuff, but sometimes my brain has difficulty switching in between Italians and English. Anyway, AH was not about her, the lawsuit. So she was called to testify for the son. So because of that, she did not have to present all the evidence that was available also in US. Actually, the black belt barrister says that Johnny Depp asked or filed whatever it's called to get some of those evidence in the UK trial out of AH, but of course she refused. So there were way more limitations in the UK trial, less evidence to go by, and again, AH was not like the defendant there. She just was called to testify for the son. So he explains very well everything that what's up there, which is and he also started. I checked also. I don't remember if I shared this video. He also started a petition to check to look into if they can reappeal or appeal the UK trial. And the last time I checked, the petition was already almost at 10,000 signature. Maybe by now has already crossed the 10,000 signature. If you ask me as a viewer, what do I think of an appeal to the UK trial? I don't know. Because I don't know if this can happen without JD involvement. You know what I mean? Like maybe the black belt barrister. I would love to ask him this question because I haven't had the chance to look into it or hear it from him or from somebody else. So I don't know if that can happen without JD involvement. You know what I mean? Like a judge or whatever, lawyers or whatever, they can look into it and restart the whole process and see if there was any problem in it. So that I don't know. But if there must be like JD involvement, then I don't know if it's worth it right now. It's more money, more time, lawyers, and I think it's also fishy. Oh, some of you guys said that the petition now it's a 27,000 signature. Wow, literally yesterday I was watching it and it was like around 10,000. So now literally went to 27,000. That's amazing. That's amazing. And again, oh yeah, guys, I also want to show you this because I made a video and then I didn't post this video because I was late, I don't know, and then I felt like, okay, I'm probably I missed the timing of the video. But I did make a video about Alain, I think, the lawyer of AH, and I want to discuss this. So, that Alain, the lawyer of AH, went around and did a kind of round a few big magazine, like a news station, and I probably by now we have seen the interview many times. I also saw the interview. I thought, okay, I do a reaction, but I'll give you the short rundown. I mean, it's pure, if you ask me, it's, allegedly pure gaslighting. After you lose the trial, you go on national TV, pointing fingers, basically accusing, allegedly, the jury of going, probably assuming that the jury has not done their job properly because they go home, they have families, their families talk to them, they show them videos or something, so they did not follow the rules of not watching stuff on the trial on social media and whatnot. And I find it so remarkable because I've seen a video, somebody put it back to back, the interview of her saying that, and then you have the closing statement always of Alain, which is literally like brown nosing, like really sucking up to the jury. Oh, we thank you so much. We appreciate you so much, your effort, your work. Oh my God, if I could make you muffins, I will cook you muffins right now. It's just that I don't have my favorite utensils. Otherwise, I will do it right here, right now, maybe outside. I will make muffins, even blueberry muffins for everybody. That's how adamant she was in praising the jury. And then literally 20 hours later, she went to national TV saying like, the jury, no muffins. The jury didn't do a good job. That was actually hilarious. I was like, wow, woman. Talk about backstabbing, How can you trust that behavior, I know that's also a sort of common practice. You gotta, if you gotta keep fighting, I can understand that to that, to an extent. But it was hilarious. So she was pointing the finger. But the interesting thing is that now everything went silent. So no interviews anymore. Nothing happened. I also read somewhere that Law and Crime, the channel that streamed the whole process, the whole trial, she had an interview and then was cancelled last second. And then somebody showed me this, that this is the Virginia State Bar professional guidelines. And I don't know how it ties into the lawyers, but I don't know if this rule has any effect. But anyway, here there's a rule 8.2, says judicial officials. A lawyer shall not make a statement that the lawyer knows to be false or with reckless disregard as to its truth or falsity concerning the qualification or integrity of a judge or other judicial officer. So that immediately made me think like, oh, is she in trouble? Maybe. Did she do a misstep by doing those interviews? You know what I mean? Maybe this was actually against the code of conduct or rules for the Virginia court. Maybe she was cold. It's like, hey, what are you doing? You're already accusing the judge and the jury of doing something wrong. So, and we know that they were doing this because they want to appeal. So I guess that probably law YouTubers that have already discussed this, probably they know this to be just the normal formality. I mean, they want to try to appeal, so there's all kinds of play or whatever they have to do. But that felt a little bit douchey, if you ask me as a viewer. And also all those statements right away, like JD lawyers, they did the statement right off the bat when, they won, and they made a beautiful statement outside the courthouse, and then that's it. JD made a statement actually thanking his fans and the people believing in him and narrating his experience, how he felt. And he also didn't point the finger, he didn't make any names, which was great, was very elegant. So going back to this, I wonder if they told us like, hey, you know what, you probably you're breaking the law or whatever, so just keep quiet for a moment. So Steffi Marshall, thank you for the super chat. I wish she would say sorry, forgive, it's easy. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't see that happening anytime soon, because like I said also in the other videos, what those people are doing is trying to rally that part of audience that it's biased with them, the part of audience that has bought into the propaganda without logic, without it's more like abiding to the propaganda feeling wise, emotionally, than logically, with following the truth. And unfortunately, people do that. It's not unusual. People do that with all kinds of things, and it's the I would say the more unfortunate part of us human beings, that once you belong in the cult, you prefer to look the other way as long as you can sort of stay in that cult or in that group, And this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to rally that part of their audience, that part of their support, which will be there regardless. And you have seen plenty of like very questionable people online, going after YouTubers, Oz and JD supporter, even to the length of saying like what is she? Like this journalist literally accusing basically people of JD supporter of being a far-right disinfo harassment campaign. I mean, that's pretty insane. I didn't know I was a far-right supporter. I didn't even know I was into politics, honestly. I've never been. I never will. But it's insane that those people, they are just putting JD's fans in that box when you have nothing left to argue. And the thing that amuses me the most is also that those people, they really enjoy lashing out, but they cannot take it. As soon as they get a comment that it's snarky, they immediately block everybody, they block the comment section, and they just don't want to take it. They like to lash out. Oh, they enjoy to have the higher terrain morally whenever they can. But they don't like to take it. They don't like to be criticized or called out, especially when they deserve it. XS Meteor, thank you for the super chat. You say, I'm a nice person and very soft-spoken. My husband is such a kind soul. I seem like a mean person by comparison. His ex abused him, so absolutely felt for Johnny. Yeah, it's really sad because there's a, like everybody, like especially in this nowadays climate, assume that you're a guy, you're aggressive and violent. There's definitely a lot of aggressive men out there. Um, but yeah, also aggressive men, not necessarily they have to express their aggression towards a partner, but that does definitely exist. But to me, it blows my mind because I think the majority of guys actually just want to be left alone. That's what it is. Um, I'm just scrolling a little bit through the higher, like some of the new memes here just for fun. And this is exactly what it's happening. I love this. Abusers supporting media. That's exactly what we saw. But this type of behavior is not going to last long for them. That's why they go after YouTubers. They go after YouTubers because they want to eliminate the other voices, Like this, they can create the echo chambers that they like to create. And then today, like I said many times, this is already difficult today. Because thanks to algorithms and stuff, it's already quite easy that anybody, me included, you included, can fall into the trap of the echo chamber, So it's very good to have more voices that you can draw from to get out of that echo chamber. Otherwise, you literally can believe that the planet is flat. And unfortunately, some people do believe that the planet is flat. I love this. Disney first payment. Actually, someone of you told me that there are like 3 million alpaca in the wild, because I was inquiring like actually how many of those animals exist. And apparently those animals, they also enjoy very much spitting. So guys, we are 2,500 in the chat. If you didn't hit the like, let's hit the like. Let's see if we can bring it to 1,500 likes. Or subscribe if you're not subscribed. Probably the majority of you are already subscribed anyway. So, alright guys, just 1 second. I want to get a glass of water. I finished the water. I come back in a second. Here we go. So nice, we got water. I love alpacas. Probably you need a lot of space, and also making sure that you don't upset them. Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot of spit on your face. Yeah, this is the. Let's give it an upvote. An excellent video by the Black Belt Barrister. So yeah, go check him out. Definitely go check him out. Good videos. He really explains in details. Oh man. The thing that blows my mind, honestly, it's really the simplicity, the simple fact that this time we got lucky. We as a audience, we got lucky. Because all this media is trying to make this about gender. They're trying to make this like men hate women. Men are taking disadvantage now of this survivor, of this victory, to be misogynistic, to set the clock back. So for every woman that comes out and speaks, it's not going to be believed because she doesn't want to go through the whole process of scrutiny or whatever that they're thinking. And also, like, that a powerful man can always win. It's a bunch of BS. Because, like many have said already, AH had a chance. And I also learned through some law YouTubers that this trial was very long. Like freaking 6 weeks, man. 6 weeks. I don't think there are other criminal trials which they go along for this, this much. So, actually, they really had a fair trial. And if you think about it, they also had the judge. She's a woman. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to think like that, there could be like some bias taking place towards, seems like a good terrain, for actually her having a little bit the upper end. Also because, like many of you also said, the burden of proving was on JD's side. So he had to prove, And so she had already many, many advantages, man. And the reason why she lost is because it was just obvious. It was just evident. To the point where, like it felt like we were watching like an episode of The Twilight Zone. It's like, wow, those people really believe what they're saying from her side? You know what I mean? It became so absurd that one day when we will hear the jury, probably will be, probably they felt like as we felt. I know that there was this thing going around of this guy on TikTok claiming to be a juror, but we tried not to give too much importance to that because we didn't want to mislead. And and also jeopardize the jury, because that's what they were trying to do probably, from her camp, trying to see if they could find any fault or create it, or so that the jury might come out to do a misstep or whatever. So after 21 days, I think you cannot appeal anymore. So we didn't want to give too much importance to that for the moment. So, no, also for me personally, nobody has contacted me. So, yeah, we leave it at that for the moment. But in the future, it would be interesting to hear. And probably the jury felt like more or less like we felt when we saw all this evidence. Actually, I also saw like there is I think like there is a new video with subtitles of an audio. Actually, I wanted to go through it with you for fun. Maybe on another live, maybe tomorrow. Because it was really well done, and I was listening to it, and it was so incredible actually to see the words and to hear the video, Like makes it even more clear. So I just wanted to show you this because this is an historical, infamous. This is literally some of you sent me this. This is literally the thread of when she posted this. See? And this is where it all started. I'm surprised actually that this is not taken down, because this is the very post that has lost her the trial, and then it's been proven to be with malicious intent. So I want to show you this because it's fascinating to see some of the older replies, of people, like, the supporters of the time. This supporter here says, "Way to go, eh?" This user, I think this is a user from now. This is a reply from now. I fix it for you. You're welcome. So, opinion. I lied about and faced our culture's red. I'm sorry. Oh man, this is a great fixing. It's true. That's exactly, honestly, this is a good way of editing this, if it was possible. And here we see like another user that is like, thank you for writing this, love. You're speaking for women all over the world in all different situations. Thank you, heart, more love. I don't want to give space to this, but I wonder if this person stays as still the same opinion after 3 years. And this is again another user. It's time for women to rise again. Stirgus or whatever. I'm so proud of you and your fights. You're giving so many survivors hope. Then once they choose to come out of the nightmare, they could also find the light again. Kiss with love, with heart. Yeah, I also wonder this person how it feels right now. This other person says, I'm so proud of you. I'll always stand with you. Love you so much. You see, like, you see the feeling of the people that, sided with her because they believed her, a lot of people believed her. This is more recent, the look of a predator eyeing his prey. So she's looking at him. True. Actually more accurate, if you ask me. I don't know what is this. Actually, I'm curious to click on it. It was never about Johnny, huh? Yeah, now he won. Now we know what's up. Oh, man. It's so interesting to see both the mixture of the old and the new. It was a great piece. You're such a strong person. I look up to you and I stand with you, sending lots of love. So definitely, you definitely see that there is a ton of people which they supported her. And they believed in what she had to say at the time. And it's such a great irony, if you think about it, that all of those things weren't accurate. It's like, what a disaster. What a disaster for all those movements to actually have to admit, also those brands and everybody that chimed in to run with, we are so woke, we are so friendly with all the gender, LGBTQ, super woke, 24 hours a day. And just in parentheses, just to make sure that people understand, I'm also for that. I'm also for all of it, we are all humans. We're all humans. We deserve equality, respect, love, kindness. So I'm all for that, just to make sure. But, all those brands, whatever, they wanted to ride the wave of this momentum, of this period, of what it's trendy in terms of where you should stand, with your purchase or whatever. And they'll say, oh, let's use this one, let's use this one, let's use this face. And then they have a person that is literally proven to be the very thing that some of those organizations are trying to go against. It's actually like catastrophic. It basically self-implosion. You know what I mean? And I wonder if some of them, they've already taken steps. Probably not. Probably not. Yes, she lied. She lied, and they keep lying. And maybe we see her like here in this meme. We'll see her in the next season of a Squid Game. Maybe we see her in the next season of Squid Game. That's exactly what happened. They wanted to silence him. They didn't believe him. If we are actually to help each other, we have to believe victims. we have to give them, not belief by default, but we have to give them a voice, let them speak, and then, go through the process or whatever. Because if you think about it, there's a lot of people which have been totally cancelled. And I want to talk about something, this is going to be a little controversial for some, but I'm also curious to hear your thoughts on this. I was thinking about all the guys, all the people that got cancelled by the Me Too movement. And I would agree that some really deserved it. Like a Weinstein, for instance, like totally deserved it. But then I think like of people, for instance, like there was this comedian that was super popular some years ago. And actually I also liked him a lot. I thought he was a great comedian. And his name is Louis C.K. Probably a lot of you knows this comedian. And he was totally erased by the face of the earth because he personally, I don't know exactly, so I apologize if I don't know all the facts straight. But it's been very a bit amusing to me what happened to this guy. And also, I don't clearly, fully understand actually what happened or how it happened, because basically this guy at the time came out, was either called out by colleagues which was touring with him like 10-15 years ago or so. I don't know exactly the time frame. It must be more than 10 years ago that he was on tour with also colleagues, female colleagues, comedians, and some of them came forward saying that he had a little like kind of a pervy attitude, or he was a little bit he had strange fetish, and then he came forward himself and said it was true about if I recall correctly, that he liked to ask, he asked if he could self-pleasure himself, basically being watched while he was pleasuring himself. So that's what I understood, at least, right? And he came forward with this, and then he was, of course, accused of sexual misconduct, and he was totally erased from the face of the earth. He lost everything. He lost work. He had all kinds of things, and I think for several years he has lost all kinds of contracts or whatever. The thing I never understood exactly, it's first of all, how does that really happen? I've always been curious, like, okay, because some people came forward, also friends like Sarah Silverman, saying that she also witnessed that. It was not a big deal. Sometimes it was funny, sometimes wasn't so funny, but it wasn't a big deal. And those other women, I don't know if they stayed anonymous, they said they didn't like that. There was a sort of power move because they were the smaller comedian on the tour, so he was basically forcing himself by asking this and like self-pressuring in front of them. But I always wonder, first of all, how does that really happen? Like, if you ask and then you accept, or even if he asks and you don't accept, and he carries, he does it anyway, what was not allowing you to leave? I mean, I'm just curious about that dynamic, you know what I mean? Because especially when there is no violence taking place, or not even contact, you know what I mean? When there is not even contact in between the two people. I just wonder how that happens. And if there was, like flirting involved, was it just black or white? Oh, can I just pleasure myself? Yes. And then he does that, like, I always thought to be very amusing and also very strange that somebody anyway on the, like, let's say on the receiving hand, will accept to stay. You know what I mean? Because if you ask me something like that and I don't like it, for instance, I'm just like, dude, do whatever you want. I'm just out of here, But anyway, that said, that's not definitely something I would stand behind, so to speak. You know what I mean? As a behavior, for sure. It's not something I will promote or stand behind. And I don't think also it's very elegant. But still, I don't know exactly the dynamic in between those people, to what degree they accept or not. But anyway, long story short, this person, still for this, I would say, misdemeanor, probably it's not even a misdemeanor, it's just a behavior. It's not such a nice behavior, but still, it's been categorized as basically like a serial rapist or something. So that makes me wonder, like, how a person that has done something not elegant or stupid 10, 15 years ago or more, for a once or twice or whatever, how long does it take to have a redemption arc? Or how long does it take also for us to sort of judge this, to give it a place, on the spectrum of rights or wrongs, so to speak? How do we give it a place? How do we choose, like, okay, this was a douchey thing. That was a kind of like, little pervy thing, but maybe wasn't so bad. You know what I mean? Nobody got harmed. There was permission asked. It's not 100% clear if there was consent, or afterwards people giving consent regretted watching it or whatever. So there are all those like in-between things that we don't know. But then at the end of the day, that goes in the same category of a Weinstein for a lot of people. And this guy, it's been totally destroyed. So sometimes you also wonder, how does it work to come back when something is not super bad? You know what I mean? And it seemed like that there is just one measure. There has been just one measure for all of those things, And I don't know if I agree with all of it. You know what I mean? I don't know if I agree with all of it. To an extent, I lean towards, okay, let's look into what happened, and then we can judge based on the degree, of what has happened, instead of making everything looking like the same. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not supporting anything. I'm not justifying anything. I'm just observing. I'm just curious, how do we get to judge or allow a person also to have a redemption, like based on what he has actually done? It's like also a little bit like how it works with real crime. Did you steal like a cola with a banana, or did you go like a gunpoint to somebody? You know what I mean? There must be a difference for those two things. You cannot put, they're both crimes or misdemeanors, but they cannot be put in the same category. Maybe I didn't use the right analogy, but you know what I'm trying to say. So there's a lot of those things which are very unclear. It really takes one thing, and then your life is destroyed forever. Maybe something you've done 15 years ago that you also yourself regretted. Like, I'm pretty sure that, for instance, Louis C.K. probably has regretted being a little bit douchey in those years of his life or on those events. I don't know if it was 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. I don't know. I'm just saying. But I'm pretty sure they probably regretted being that person in that moment. And maybe he was never that person anymore. But still, those people do feel the wrath of society, and they get destroyed forever. So honestly, I don't think AH in the long term is going to suffer the consequences, because there's always going to be some people later on which they will sort of, especially for as long as there is a little bit this kind of behavior, this type of trend in believing by default based on your gender, there's always people willing to probably offer work or whatever, or to be sympathetic for, even for somebody that in my opinion has done worse than what, for instance, Louis C.K. has done. You know what I mean? I think it's done much worse. There was actually real violence involved. Violence, manipulation, drug manipulation, alcohol manipulation, like literally sedating your ex-husband. At least that's what appeared to hear from the audio. There was much, much worse. You know what I mean? But yeah, we'll see what it's happening. So guys, I was just curious to, I just made an example. Like I said, I'm not supporting anything CK has done or whatever. I'm more just curious on how we behave on an example such as that, you know? Because it's the only one that I can think of that it seems to be more mild, you know, where actually nothing really happened in terms of like, you know, seriousness, you know. There was not a big thing. Fernando, thank you so much, Fernando. You're very kind. No, I also mentioned the comedian because I think recently I saw, well, probably was on a thread or something, and I saw that because there was maybe a movie coming out of this comedian, and there was still backlash, you know, related to that incident of the past. Still, you know what I mean, like and all the hatred and everything. Because, like I said, if you do something that remotely gets closed and gets put in the category of, like, you know, sexual misconduct, then you're doomed. You're basically a piece of manure forever. There is no coming back for some people. So, yeah. Well, I don't know so much about J.K. Rowling, about those issues. You know, I don't know so much. I know some stuff, some statements, but also I know also like I think like what's her name again? Adele. Adele also suffered backlashes, right? When I think she won a prize not long ago. I don't remember exactly, but I remember watching some videos, and she won this prize, and she went on stage and she said, basically, I paraphrase what I remember, like something like, you know, I'm very proud to be a woman, I'm happy to be a woman. And a lot of people really didn't like that, especially in the super woke community, as if she had said something preposterous. She said something preposterous, you know, that she was happy to be a woman. Because apparently nowadays, because you can literally decide on a whim whatever you like to be, then biology doesn't exist anymore. And it's, you know, this comes from a person that I've always considered myself liberal, you know, actually more anarchical than liberal, in the way that I always thought that I can self-regulate myself, you know, I can self-govern myself to that extent, and also liberal in the way, like, you know, I do what I want, you do what I want, as long as we, you know, we respect each other, freedom. So I'm all for that, you know, I'm all for that, you know. It's not that I'm closed-minded or whatever, but I'm just puzzled by the idea that somebody like Adele says, like, I'm proud to be a woman, and then she gets a backlash because how dare you, like, pointing out to the fact that the biology of her body correspond with the way she feels, you know. It's kind of, we live in mysterious time. Also, we live in very strange times. I do believe that biology exists. I also know that you can have a different gender than the one that you're born with later in life, or when you discover it. I mean, I can also stand behind that, totally fine. But I am a proponent of science. I do believe in biology. You know what I mean? So I think to the degree of biology, female and male do exist. And that's why we exist also, because biology exists. And that's for the moment all length. I'm totally for, you know, LGBTQ and all of that. You know, I'm totally open-minded. in many respects, because like I said, we're all humans. We are just humans. And to any human, you just extend whatever you wish for yourself to the other person. So, to that extent, I'm for all of it, for the support for anybody, for any gender you assign yourself, and so on and so forth. Because I wish for you what I wish for myself. You are a human too, and so therefore I give you what I give myself, the compassion, the kindness, and so on and so forth. So that's for me the end of it, Yeah, I think nowadays we're getting a little bit like there is like an overcorrection that it's gone too far. Seems like that people are so frail that that reality can be destroyed just by few words or a statement, and I think that's actually it's bad, you know what I mean? That we cater in that direction. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be sensible. We should definitely be sensible. We have to be sensible, open-minded, open, kind, and loving and respecting. But also, we cannot just sort of cater towards any demand from whatever side, for whatever ideology, for whatever beliefs or emotions somebody feels, because we're afraid that the reality is going to collapse otherwise, It's like you actually do a disservice to a person, The more we cave in to every single demand of little branches of emotions or whatever, the more we create actually frailer people, People get more and more frail because everything feels like an attack. Everything feels like a trauma. Everything feels like, oh my God, this says that I cannot have my pink hair. Now I don't know tomorrow how I'm going to wake up and if I can have my cereal. Oh my God. And they started a petition like, why not pink hair? Pink hair is our hair too. I don't know. I'm just making an example, I think we're just amplifying too much of all of those things. You know what I mean? In Naples, we say like 4 inches from my butt, anybody can F-U-C-K. You know what I mean? That's how we say in Naples. 4 inches from my butt, everybody can do that. So thank you so much, Dr. Brandley Bungie. The Pickle says, people often say the science or biology from a place of not knowing the full story. The actual science reveals a much muddier reality. I don't know what you're referring to that statement to. So I don't know exactly what you mean by that. I don't use science to justify, certain ideologies or whatever. Rebecca, I love you, Frank, but drinking is killing. Why? What is happening? What are you drinking? Don't drink so much. Thank you so much, Haywood. Thank you so much for the super chat. Did I also thank? Yeah, Brandy Lee. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, guys, like I said many times, I'm not. I know that people get super touchy about politics and stuff. I'm not really. I really don't ascribe to anything in that way. Like I actually believe in democracy in the center, and I know that's probably kind of a strange concept for many, but I think like in between two things, you always have to listen to both sides to an extent. So I can only see democracy as in dialogue. If there is no dialogue, then there is no democracy for me. And so therefore, I'm not super interested in the left or right, Republican or Democrat. To me, being a Democrat doesn't necessarily always means that you're right, and being a Republican doesn't mean necessarily that you're always wrong. So nowadays I think, and this is going back to from where we started, because of the media, because of the echo chambers, because of the exasperation of manipulating one faction against the other. Actually, what we have achieved is to have more separation than we have ever had before, that's really the true sad part. Instead of having leaders that try to find a way in between, like a true leader of finding a way in between, not pointing the finger always, it's always you or it's always the other way around. It's like leaders which they truly find dialogue in between the parties, and then you try to unite people. I think the example that we have seen also in the US in the last 5-6 years or so, it's like how people got so divided more than ever, which is sad, man. It's really sad to see that. And it's happened also to Europe, and in many countries in Europe as well, And I think a good leadership will be really a leadership that tries to really bring the people together, over a larger spectrum of ideals, of beliefs, religious beliefs, and so on and so forth. I think it's more necessary than ever, because we already live in a globalized world economically, that we cannot afford anymore to behave in a very campanilistic way, as if we're still like in our own little state, or limited by boundaries, by like we were maybe like 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, much more than we are now, So it really calls for it. It really calls like for being able to have leaderships that unite people, bring us together, instead of just making a like bigger and bigger rift. That I don't see it working. And I agree also with some of you, because the reason also I don't ascribe to anything, it's because in the end of the day, and I know that this might sound a little conspiratorial, but in the end of the day, it's the dynamic of human societies is that who gets there first wants to stay in the position of privilege. And this happens on every level. A smaller level, medium level, higher level. Whether you start your business and then you start to have like, a little bit of privileges, you want to keep those privileges. Whether that being like income, like working less or whatever, you get to a position of, getting into the Senate or like a representative. Those are incredibly privileged positions that people aspire to. And that's why there are like around the world, not only in the US, but also in Italy, in the UK, whatever, there's literally the same people in the governments, that they are there for like 30 years, 40 years. There is literally the same people. Those people, they tell you a lot on the state of things. They really tell you a lot on how things will actually work. It's very difficult to get in, but once you get in, nobody wants to leave. And there's a very good reason for that, I mean, presidents, they come and go, but there's a lot of representatives which they're there for way longer than anybody has ever been in office as a president or a prime minister. You know what I mean? And actually, sometimes those are better positions that actually, in my opinion at least, now I'm grossly generalizing, but just for handing the live here. But a lot of those positions actually are better than actually if you were to become a prime minister, A lot of those people are there like for 40 years, getting like salaries and benefits which are unheard of, not only monetarily, but also in terms of status and basically also being untouchable, You should watch a movie from Luis Buñuel, which I think it's called The Mild, I don't know in English. I remember the title in Italian, Il fascino discreto della borghesia. I think it was like The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie. And this is a movie, a famous movie of Luis Buñuel. It's actually a very nice movie to watch. It goes a little bit over, like this. I don't know if some of you have watched this movie. So, but anyway, I was saying some of those positions. So who gets in position of privileges in our societies wants to keep that, Seems like a human nature of being in a better place. And nobody wants to give that up. People are going to every length to stay where they are. And that's why you have families which they are rich for generations, business families which they're rich for generations. And the more we go on, the more those families are still there. You know what I mean? Or anybody affiliated with them. Then there are new money, and also the new money wants to stay there, and all of it. So it's a very complex society where you and me, most of the people are just there to actually, if you realize that the majority of people working, they're actually just working. And I say this, I'm not saying this from a place of, that I want this to change or whatever. It's just a realization. It's just an observation. The majority of people is just working for a very few percentage of human beings which wants to stay in those positions of privilege. That's all. And the reason why the economy drives itself in that way and the way it works is still because to make sure that people will continue to do what they do, the majority of people, so that this smaller layer of human beings can stay where they are. And it's not changing anytime soon, as long as people don't realize that that's the very basic reality of our society. Yeah, I agree. Vicky U, like I said before, this is exactly the misstep that the mainstream media did, in those years. Really pitting each other one against the other, which is really bad. Yeah, man, we should really like be a little bit more responsible with and again, this ties back, with YouTubers taking things in their own hands. People in general taking things in their own hands, trying to filter this noise, the news, and everything, because we want to make a little bit more sense out of this. So I honestly hope it continues. I honestly really do. I really hope it continues to go this way, the way of questioning, inquiring, like filtering, reading through the headlines instead of just accepting. Don't be complicit by default. And this goes all over the spectrum for everything. But also don't be silly. Don't be a tin foil hat type of person. You know what I mean? Yeah, we also like what happened with the house there, the $23,000 a month house. I mean, it's not a big deal, but in a way, I'm pretty sure there might be other houses which they're cheaper in order to, you know, I mean, even for a rich person, $20,000, $30,000 a month for a house seems like a big expense. You know what I mean? Even if you are a millionaire. Of course, if you are a billionaire, probably it's not much. There is a huge difference between having like 10, 20, 50 million and having like 700, 800, a billion onward. There's a huge difference. Doesn't look like it, but there's a huge difference between 100 million and 100 billion. Like really big difference. So guys, I just wanted to make a little live. I don't actually, how long am I on? Let me see. I don't want to make the live too long, also for the people coming afterwards. Okay, it's an hour and a half of live. I just want to do, I also wanted to check with you. Actually, I want to stop with this live, like again, like I told you before. I would love to hear, now we're still like, how many of us are we? Let me see. Just give me a second, I check because it refreshed. Alright, we are a little bit less. But anyway, we are like still 1,500, 1,400. Like I said, I'm curious to... Okay, I read this first. T. Etup. Frank, read this, you're right. Did she poison JD wine? Listen, audio even with JD high tolerance is still passed out, slurred, speech, loopy. Could be. I mean, we have seen in the videos that we have heard in the audios that she was giving him Xanax, in conjunction with drinking. So that definitely made him probably slur. Guys, go check the videos of today. I don't know if today I do another video. Depends if there are new news coming out. I just wanted to ask you, again, to my audience, how you feel like also about, more pop culture stuff. Like, for instance, reviewing the news of the day, like, what is happening with the reviews of Obi-Wan Kenobi, for instance, or what is happening with Tom Cruise with this new movie. All this type of stuff. I mean, if you're interested in this type of content, I'll be happy to review it, make videos about it. And if you want me to sing, there are covers and songs on my channel that you can listen to. I'm working on some stuff, but it's gonna take some time, like in terms of music and stuff. Toby, she's gigging out on light years. I mean, you mean the new movie from Toy Story, right? Kari Mashet. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Me, definitely. But like I said, there are so many things you can talk about. I can definitely continue. I enjoy, like I said in the beginning, or some in part of the live. I kind of discovered that I enjoy this quite a lot. I enjoy being a little bit of filter for media, pop culture, and whatever. In whatever shape or form, I can filter what I see and express some thoughts. I notice I quite like it. So that's why I was inquiring with you if you're okay if we open up the spectrum, like we can keep reacting to things, news regarding JD and his surrounding, but also what is happening in general in the week, in the month, whether there be like controversial reviews of a TV series like it's happening for Obi-Wan Kenobi, or like a movie, or like some other news that is coming out. That's what I said. So enlarging a little bit the spectrum of the reaction. So, and inquiring if you would, enjoy that. There is a Marilyn Manson trial? Really? Oh, I gotta look into this. Alright, guys, I'll look into this because I know that Marilyn Manson is also a good friend of JD. And I heard that there was some stuff going on also with with what allegations also for him. I don't know enough, so I will look into it. You gave me a good idea. All right, I'll look into it. I'm definitely interested. Also because as an artist, as a musician, I think Marilyn Manson represented something different when he came out. So I've always appreciated him in the moment where he came out, that he tried to go a little bit against the grain in the 90s. So that was interesting. It was interesting to that extent in terms of music. But again, I don't know much. So I definitely look into it. You gave me a good idea. And there are some stuff I want to do. I might do a live with that umbrella guy. We're trying to figure out a way that we can do it. I would love to talk with him. And we'll see if it goes through or not. Of course, it's all open, so there is no pressure or whatever. So either him joining one live or me joining his live, for me would be great each way. I would love to do that. And also because he knows way more about also JD and all the stuff surrounding. He has done such a great job with so many videos already for more than a year or so, covering JD and AH and all that is happening around. So if probably you already watch a lot of his videos, but if you don't, you should definitely check it out. So we'll see also if that happens. And thank you for the suggestion. I'll start to look into the Marilyn Manson case as well. And we'll take it from there. All right, guys. First of all, thank you so much. Really, thank you so much. 1,400 in the chat. We've been also more than that. We've been 2,400, 500 at the time. So it's lovely to see a chat that is so alive. Sorry guys, Lady Dingo, chat, please push Frank to read my message. I would like to talk to you all. All right, I just read your message, Lady Dingo. So hello. All right, somebody says Romina Jones, Colonel Kurtz is channel for Manson. All right, Colonel Kurtz. All right, I'll check it out. I'll try to get updated a little bit on this. Thank you for the suggestion, Colonel Kurtz. Let me write this down. Colonel All right, I wrote it down. I'm gonna check it out. I get updated. And yes, I'll do live. I'll try to do live once a week or twice a week. I really enjoy this. Around this time, we get audience from the US, from Australia, from Europe, from Mexico. So we get, like different part covered. And I'll try to get up to date with what is happening with this Marilyn Manson thing. Now I'm signing off. Guys, thank you so much, really. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the comments. Thank you so much for showing up in the chat. Thank you so much for the suggestion. Expect more. Expect the truth. And I'll see you later, alright? Now it's time to heat. Thank you so much, guys. And I'll try also to do another day also a little bit of live later, later in the day. We'll experiment, okay? Alright, guys. Thank you so much again. Signing out. It's always so difficult to go because I like to stay. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you later, all right?